Hello you beautiful people, welcome back to the Powerful Pussies. Welcome to this channel where we celebrate womanhood and we help you be the best version that you can possibly be. Please like, share and subscribe if you haven't done so already. This channel is all about you guys and we are basically nothing without you. So we would love to have you on board and we would love you to join this community. Today we're talking about how to release shame. So how do you cope with your shame? Do you run, disconnect, hide, push people away, or are you a people pleaser, doing things to please others? Or are you the third option, where you try to gain power over others by verbally attacking and putting others down? Unprocessed shame will subconsciously control your behaviour. We are all carrying some trauma or behaviour patterns that locks us into shame. For me, the main trauma and experiences that I've been carrying shame from are, but not limited to, having an abortion in my early 20s, having a toxic and unhealthy relationship with my first partner, my first love experience, having daddy issues, having mummy issues, failed friendships, living with cervical cancer, and I could go on. These unprocessed traumas and experiences in my life meant I was going through life with blinkers on. I honestly thought that I was fine for so many years, but my lifestyle told a very different story. I was a recreation drug user from the age of 16, and the drugs filled a huge hole that I felt within myself, but I thought I was doing the drugs just because it was fun. And at the start it was, but after a while I used the drugs as a crutch to find my true character, to find my true personality. Without the drugs, there was always a dark cloud over my personality and I didn't feel that I could truly be myself. I also attracted friends with similar holes, but we were all hiding the shame from ourselves and from others, which led us to make unhealthy decisions in our life. Your way of hiding the shame may be very different to my own. It took me nearly 40 years to finally face the shame, the guilt, the trauma, and releasing it has been the best thing that has ever happened to me. But I hear you asking, how do you actually release the shame? So here are my 3 steps to releasing shame in your life. Step 1, you need to acknowledge the shame. The first step to release your shame is to acknowledge it and face it head on. You need to face up to your trauma, you need to face up to your behaviour, certain decisions that you've made in the past that haven't been the most caring, the most wisest decisions that you've ever made. Maybe you've used people for your own advantage. Maybe you've totally ignored people. Maybe you've dealt with your shame by completely running away from friends, completely running away from your own reality. The option where you try and control others, where you put people down and you belittle them. So you spend your life trying to control others to make you feel safe. Facing up to your trauma is not an overnight activity. It will take a few weeks, a few months, even years sometimes, depending on how deep your trauma goes. So how do you do it? How do you face up to your trauma? The way that worked for me was writing a list of the traumas and experiences that I had, and then writing my feelings down next to them. It took me a while to work through this. It was painful. I had been running away from my pain. I had been shoving it down. I'd been ignoring it, pretending that it wasn't there, and my life had suffered from it. It's important not to run away from your feelings of pain, anger, guilt, or embarrassment. You need to face it and you need to feel it. This is the most difficult part of the process and the hardest step. No one wants to dredge up a painful past, and it's not pleasant to face your fears. But in order to heal, it must be done. And with this list, you will begin to understand what triggers the shame response in you. And with understanding comes awareness, and with awareness comes healing. Step 2 is talking about your shame. You need to be authentic with yourself and with others. So you need to admit to yourself, are you in pain? Are you lonely? Are you scared? Do you have anxiety? Because if you're anything like me, then my feelings were buried deep inside myself. So if I ever felt I felt very uncomfortable with my feelings. I felt very uncomfortable with my negative feelings. So I would put on a brave face and I would pretend that I didn't feel that way, or I would just completely ignore the negative emotions that I had. But over time, these negative emotions just grow inside and they become toxic, and that toxicness comes out in other areas of your life. So whatever negative emotion is controlling your thoughts, you need to talk about it. Don't keep it held within. Don't be like me. You need to reach out to friends and family if they are safe people. So by safe people, I mean they're empathic individuals. By safe people, I mean they are empathic individuals. They will listen to you when you say that you're in pain. They won't diminish you in any way. They won't humiliate you for having pain. They'll just be, if you don't have family and friends that are empathic, then seek therapy. Do what I did in order to tell your story. Seek out a professional, and being able to have a safe, non-judgmental space where you can express your feelings to another person is invaluable. Out then in. What also helps in expressing your feelings is maybe writing a blog, make up stories or write songs about your experiences, journal your emotions on a daily basis. That way you get to express the shame and it reduces the power over you. We've discussed how important it is speaking to other people about your story, but it's also super, super important to talk to yourself with empathy, to talk to yourself kindly. Negative self-talk will only deepen your sense of shame. You're not worthless, so never tell yourself this. You are not an idiot. You are not selfish. So stop talking to yourself like crap. Be gentle, be kind to yourself. Be the good friend to you that you are to others. Our final step is allow yourself to be vulnerable. This is a step where I currently am in my personal life, and like step one, it's not always easy. Vulnerability was seen as a weakness in my family, and negative emotions were responded to with anger, annoyance, and then denial. So in response to this, I've spent my whole life hiding my vulnerability. By being strong, by taking care of myself, by not asking for help, soldiering on with a, it's okay, I got this, I can do this attitude. Brené Brown, who probably knows more about shame than anyone else, with multiple books under her belt and a famous TED Talk, she describes vulnerability as uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure. So life is constantly full of uncertainty and risk, and loving another person, for example, is full of risk as we're leaving ourselves open to being hurt and ending up as weak and exposed. Being creative is also a vulnerable act. Artists put their heart and soul into their creations. We love them for it. Vulnerability is not a weakness. Vulnerability allows you to be your authentic self. How do you become vulnerable? Again, I hear you asking me. Well, this will differ from person to person, but basically it's just being authentic to who you are, how you can tap into being your authentic self. So if you have a passion and you've always wanted to start that, but you felt too afraid to because that little voice was talking, then just start it. If you've always wanted to sing or write or create art, then just do it. If you're a people pleaser, then start saying no and start putting yourself first, even if it scares the crap out of you. Start doing that. Express your opinions. They are valid and they should not be brushed under the table. Ask for help. This is my Achilles heel. This is what I find the most difficult. Start your own business maybe. Try something new. Try a new sport. Reach out to old friends. We're all scared to put ourselves into vulnerable positions. We're all worried about what other people think of us. But the most important person that has an opinion about you is you. So stop being scared of life and be the courageous woman deep down that you know that you could be. Thank you for watching How to Release Shame. I hope you loved today's video. Please tell us in the comments below if you have any other steps on how to release shame. We would love to hear from you and we would love to hear about your experiences. This is a community where we're supportive and there for each other. It is a safe space. Negativity will not be tolerated. We only deal with positivity. Have a beautiful day, and I will see you beautiful ladies soon. Ciao.